What's going on, guys? Cult of Mush back at it with another video, a $700 gaming PC build, and I think this is one of my best builds ever. I really like what I did. I got a lot of nice parts in it, and this can pretty much run any game at 1080p, near maxed out 60 frames per second. So without further ado, let's get right into this build with the CPU. For the CPU of this build, I went with the Intel Core i5-4460 3.2 GHz quad-core processor. Yes, it's not OCable, but for $175, this is a really solid quad-core processor, and it's still clocked decently at 3.2 GHz. And I definitely wanted to get the quad-core of the i5 over something like the i3. Quad-core is becoming near essential to games, and the majority of games that come out these days do take advantage of the quad-core that the i5 has to offer, so for $175, not a bad deal at all. For the motherboard, I went with the ASRock H97 Anniversary ATX LJ1150 motherboard. No reason to go with a Z97 board because, like I said, the i5-4460 isn't overclocked, so an H97 board from ASRock for $70 was a damn good deal. It has 4 RAM slots up to DDR3 1600MHz, 32GB of max memory supported. It has RAID support, 6 SATA 60bps ports, and onboard USB 3 headers. Unfortunately, no Crossfire or SLI support, but I've never been a fan of that anyway. And for $70 all around, this is a solid motherboard that's going to get the job done, but it's also relatively cheap. For RAM, I went with Corsair Vengeance 8GB, 2 4GB sticks running at 1600MHz for $49. Really good RAM from Corsair. It's 8GB, no reason to go with more, but the motherboard does have 4 RAM slots, so if you do want to go for a 16GB configuration in the future, that option will be open. But for now, getting 8GB is fine. If you are the kind of guy that you plan on doing a lot of video editing, live streaming, and things like that, going for more than 8 might be something you want to take a look at. But this is primarily a gaming build, so 8GB for $50 was perfect in this build. For storage, I went with the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB 3.5-inch 7200 RPM internal hard drive. For $50, you're getting a terabyte of storage, which you really can't go wrong with. If you're the kind of guy that you can get by with 120GB, by all means go for an SSD, but right now for this cheap of a price, $50 for a terabyte of storage, I think most of you guys need the mass storage, especially if you're buying a lot of games on Steam, Origin, all those kinds of things. You know, those game file sizes add up, especially with games like Witcher 3 being like 35GB, those games having DLC, all that kind of stuff. Games are getting pretty big, and, you know, having a terabyte is definitely nice. For the video card, I was able to fit in a Sapphire Radeon R9 290 4GB Tri-X video card. $260, and this video card actually has a $20 mail-in rebate attached to it as well, so if you do use that, you can get this GPU for $240. And this video card can pretty much max out any game at 1080p, and even if you're gaming at 1440p, it can play a lot of games at that resolution too. Games like Witcher 3, Dying Light, Batman Arkham Knight, upcoming games like Star Wars Battlefront, Metal Gear Solid 5, you'll be able to play them all with this badass video card. And for $260, $240 if you decide to use the mail-in rebate, the R9 290 is a beast of a video card in gaming. And it's got 4GB of VRAM, which is really nice considering games like GTA 5 do take advantage of it. So all in all, the R9 290 is a great value at $260, and it's a beast of a GPU. For the power supply, I went with the EVGA 600W 80+ bronze certified ATX power supply. $57 for this power supply. I went with the 600W and nothing higher because you're not going for a Crossfire or SLI configuration in this build anyway. And while the R9 290 is quite power hungry, it's nothing that the EVGA 600W can't handle. So for $57, this was a perfect fit in the build, and it's going to power the build no problem. And finally, for the case, I went with the NZXT S340 Black ATX mid-tower case. This is one of the best budget mid-tower cases on the market right now at $55. It looks great aesthetically on the exterior, and the interior gets the job done as well with great ventilation and a lot of upgradability options and a lot of good features. Just a great case for $55 from NZXT. NZXT has a lot of good cases, and this is definitely one of their best. So as always, thanks for watching this video, guys. If you have a request for a future video, leave it in the comment section down below. I try to read every single comment I get, so just leave them down below. And as always, have a great day, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.